book smart is because you went to all the college routes or you read all the books and you got some foreigner intelligence about something and just how to colonize another land. That's the only intelligence is about. It ain't about that. But you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you got another way how to do it, this way how to do it, that way how to cosplay, this way how to cosplay. You still copying somebody else's culture. Don't forget that. Other than that, though, you know what I'm saying? We're coming into a circumstance where it ain't got nothing to do with none of that. And when we understand what the game is, for the most part, you start working on your game. You bring your sufficient game down here, and for the most part, it ain't a game no more. You know what's real. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, you understand that love you getting is real. That reciprocation you getting is real. That creativity that you able to look at, you know is real without having anyone else have to give you validation for it, for you to get up and try to motivate yourself to think that it's worth going for. You know what I'm saying? And then, even when you put yourself up and it don't even get that reciprocation or however the case may be, you know that's not the end all and be all, and that's not the ground means of the non-reciprocation or however the case may be, and you might need to check yourself if that's all you put your effort in for that validation or that expectation, which I call getting lost into the wrong side of things. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, people don't necessarily like to understand the natural protocol on how to learn, just like how you made your organs. But now that you're born, you know what I'm saying, and then you're not on your mother's nipple or things of that nature, you think you okay to go as your body deteriorating anyway and things of that nature. As so forth, your mind also. You know what I'm saying? I got deteriorating mind states. And to get lost in delusions and false realities. Like, it's a lot of things I can't speak about that. It's not even important for real. You know what I'm saying? But based on what humans make important, I just put it all in a box. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, we need to understand what's going on. And also, I know all y'all paying attention to the shiesty case or whatever the case may be or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's teaching us a lot when it comes to these things. For regular people, what it teaches on this end is how there could be like small pockets of institutions that's getting money wasted on certain investigations where there aren't any. So even more money got to be put in it to create one based upon whoever being racially profiled and things of that nature. Yet, in these cases and in cases where people who already got the spotlight, record deals, industries putting money in their pocket and things of that nature or whatever, and then we got things going on like poo shiesty or whatever. That's why I don't really necessarily care to talk about that, because I don't necessarily see nobody funding people like me or however the case may be that's actually showing people in the hood another way to get seen. You get put in some type of other type of operation or whatever the case. But what this does teach us is, in reality, don't none of these monkeys and humans know what's going on to after a case is already done. If that's the case, there should have been somebody who knew how to mind read Pooh Shiesty before he even did that together. So obviously, don't nobody know nothing was going on until after it's happened in all cases or whatever the case. So whatever little punk stuff be going on online for content creators, it's just for jokes.
Just here.
We're getting to a time where it's also a waste of money. It's not. We all adults.
And play around with my shadow works.
You have to waste time making up a crime on content creators that is basically becoming racial profiling beyond a joke. Other than people who actually got money in the industry, actually criminals and things of that nature, and don't nobody know what's going on until after something's already done. Something is misplaced. Something is misguided here. Something is misdirected or whatever the case may be, where a common content creator could be seen as a criminal, but you have to create this person to be one in some false way. And you got actual people out here that we don't see none of this technology, nothing happening until something's after something already done. So everything is bullshit to a certain degree also. But beyond that, let's get into hate the player. Hate the game, don't hate the actual player. Now, when it comes into players, smooth operators, smooth criminals, when we talk about esoterically speaking, when we talk about in the real world and things of that nature, when we come to provide things that all the way to the mental construct, when we just speaking, which is what's making YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, one of the most popular things during this particular time, because the average individual and their people and their family actually have something that they actually can speak, and it's actually something that's not broadcasted to them in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? But when we're looking at things in this aspect, in this new time, in this new shift, or however the case may be, when we start to talk about creativity is actually how a person become a player, because you're playing out a role that only God can give you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a manipulation. It's not a lie. It's not a concept. It's not a form of jealousy and some rhetoric put around it, in other words, to make it seem like it's not these same things or whatever the case may be. These are things when the individual may be crippled. But when you're getting into actual becoming a player, that's when God can actually use you. And when God can actually use you, you're providing something that makes the world go around. And the reason why I brought up YouTube and things of that nature, because it goes beyond. A lot of y'all may be lost in the flesh and just like tangibles and things of that nature. A lot of y'all forget things you need help with in the mind goes beyond the flesh. And then for the most part, these are gifts that God give other individuals that another individual may lack due to the fact of not having that mental state. And there's a lot of mental states that we can see and compare and contrast, where one may lead down more of a negative road than a positive road before we get into our biases and our subjectivities and things of that nature. Just how a person be able to take care of themselves if they ain't in no situation dealing with law or not. Is they in a position spiritually, mentally, and physically that they're going to harm themselves or others? And then we have comparing and contrasting examples of individuals that's got a better mind state that know how to not harm themselves and others, or lessen it up on a percentage scale. What do I mean by that? The most harming you allowing a person to do is forcing them to get off their Beavis and Butthead couch so they can start putting in some effort. And the only thing that they're going to start feeling wore out about is their arms and their legs being used, or whatever the case may be. Other than that, we all like to accept that. That's what we got labor for. That's what we got jobs for, and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part,
this has been in my luggage for 3 days, traveling 4,000 miles across the world, and this is how it comes out. Like, no wrinkles. Ball it up in your suitcase or in your carry-on. It is all the essentials that you need to travel in. It's non-wrinkle, buttery soft.
going into space now. I'm kind of blind, lightly blind anyway. But it
They said,
clarity.
Port Schweitzer. It's very bright.
But you know what I'm saying? When we start to talk about just the situation of becoming a player, you're playing out a role. Now, this goes with what you're naturally connected to, what you're naturally satisfied with, and will ultimately come together in sync and start to play out as relatable qualities as we were saying was created from an individual. Now, it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. So we all could be doing something. We all could be moving our elbow a certain way. We all could be moving our kneecap a certain way. But the spirit inside of the mind and body is what's making that one unique other than another one, right? Even if they're doing the same thing or however the case may be. This develops attraction. This develops percentage scales of likes and dislikes, or who you connect with, who you don't connect with, or who you rather accept something from, who you won't, who you would give grace to, who you wouldn't give grace to, or whatever the case may be. All these things is intertwined, and these are things we're supposed to be all understanding in this force field of reality, or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, these is like, being true to the game, because you understand what we're doing. You're making a mind state, and a mind state develops as an organ, not you being in an organ and you developing mind states in order for you to survive or manipulate. That's living backwards. Actual life itself is us making mind states and organs. If y'all not trying to take that serious, this is why you go through those limbos of not knowing what to do, play follow the leader, end up in something, then realize it ain't really truly you, and then you just stay in that limbo until you get old, and the things of that nature. And nobody really got time for that when it comes to substantiating yourself and actually getting around individuals where you can feel that sense of communion that you felt when you was inside your mother's womb and things of that nature. That so many humans, start to get born and start to go out in life and separate from and feel disconnected from that same quality, not knowing that same quality was the same type of energy when you was in your mother's womb. And when you had a sense of communion beyond the stuff that when you became an adult made you feel like what was important, or whatever the case may be. And it comes in many different layers and many different forms that people may not understand. And for the most part, when you lose this aspect, you lose the game, because it's part of the essential minerals of how you made you in the first place, or whatever. So when you leave that concept, you end up taking that energy and how other humans created it and get lost into actual games that humans created that don't have nothing to do with the game, being true to the game. You know what I'm saying? That ultimately leads into knowing how to move amongst the wind and everything that comes within the light, the wind, and the water, which is human species, people, or whatever the case, to the point that you will come up with a better idea to appreciate a plant or a bug or whatever the case may be before another individual that might be going through something in their life, but they so weak, and then, a lot of times they really want to take it off on another human. They'll take it off. They'll take it on that ant. They'll take it out on that fly. They'll take it out on that caterpillar or whatever. They'll take it out on that dandelion. They'll take it out on that rose. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. And come up with a bunch of retarded stuff. But that's really a self-damaged individual that want to self-project, but trying to come up with a pretty way of self-projecting. But, it's really just a damaged individual. We all have no choice but to self-project. So when it comes to being true to the game or whatever the case, it's just understanding how things move beyond what other people want to get lost in, thinking how things move because they're only paying attention to how the physical move. But don't forget, if you came beyond the physical, then the physical is acting after something. And if you know the first mechanisms of it, then for the most part, that's how you're able to tweak the game and be true to the game. And then for the most part, become a player, because the game that you present always has somebody substantiated. And this don't have anything to do with fame. You could be a nobody, and there's a bum underneath the bus station right now that got more game than anybody. You know what I'm saying? I can take y'all to a gas station right now, take y'all to a crackhead or someone that got more game than anybody. So the only thing that you will probably be justifying where they lack game at, that kind of where I kind of place them at sometimes too, is why you ain't have enough game to not be a crackhead or whatever the case may be. But that's a whole different book. The things that, before we get tied into our biases or whatever, and what a person may be saying that got something to do with just the mind, that ain't even got nothing to do with the physical, that just applying that type of conversation to it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, you'll be in your own ego. So, you get examples from people outside of you to be able to understand how to separate out of your own biases in areas where it really count, that a lot of individuals don't think count, because Walt Disney just taught you that bank account is the only thing that count, or however the case may be. So it'll be somebody at a bus station, it'll be a crackhead at a gas station that probably got mad game that you won't even be able to soak in or be able to see from that perspective, due to the fact of what you setting up into importance in a synthetic game, in a GMO game, or however the case may be. That ain't even got nothing to do with the game. That's just come with some type of remixing or whatever, and how can I be a part of it? And if I can't be a part of it, I'm gonna create a cheat code version that I only got the cheat codes and I only can win in or whatever. But we see none of those type of circumstances they don't substantiate themselves for that long or whatever. It's just like a civilization that leads itself up on some false pretense and crash on just as another lie. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, that's why it's important not to build things on lies. You do stuff for what it just actually is. For the most part, you have no choice but to just come in the truth and direct. But there is no other better way to come at it unless you lack something in some way, shape, or form. And that's when it comes to a person lacking game. So when it just comes into don't hate the player, hate the game, that's like hating life. You know what I'm saying? You might be a man, you might be around somebody, you might get more bitches than you, you got a small dick or whatever the case may be, you want to hate on him or whatever like that. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You got to play some type of other type of role or whatever. Once you get into a circumstance where you want to harm yourself and harm others because of your jealousy, or however the case may be, right? Or create some pills or create some other things, right? You go in the opposite direction of what God put for you. You know what I'm saying? And then for the most part, we just got so much of the percentage scale of the world and humans on that end, they don't look at it like that. But it's just a whole bunch of people without no game. So you game haters and things of that nature. So for the most part, the game can only be filtered through players. So when a person ain't got no game, they can only be on the side of hating a player of the game. Then they make up a whole nother concept of how they a player. But it ain't no real character. It's a caricature. Something of a real player. Just like how y'all got all these rappers out and things right now. These are something like rappers. They're not actual rappers and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? Or these comedians these days or whatever. They want to be something like Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? These rappers today, they want to be something like Nas. They don't want to be their own thing or whatever the case may be. They don't want to be the pilot man. They don't want to be something on their own volition because they don't have no lineage, no culture either. You know what I'm saying? So when you ain't got no lineage or no culture, you set up to not be around no family or whatever the case may be. So you think that you know what's the right route.
What are you doing?
Automatically how Walt Disney told you what it means to become successful. So you get surrounded by a whole bunch of other people
I like
without
to
no culture
reconnect with a different family.
without no family or whatever the case
Yes,
may
I.
be. And 9 times out of 10, these people is feds or something like that. So you need to know
Yes, I. But
these
I'm
people never
still.
have their own culture. That's the only way they can attach themselves to you. So if you a person who ain't got no culture, whatever the case, you gonna be excited thinking that you reaching for something Walt Disney taught you, and you already out of order from life because you don't got no culture, you don't got no family, so you don't really got no substantiated circumstance to be able to decipher between what you actually doing and what is success or not. You know what I'm saying? So when you lack culture or whatever, what you claim success is probably what Walt Disney taught you. That's why so many people want to leave from where they at and things of that nature. Once they get rich, and then they end up being in the same situation, even worse, because they thrown up under the bus because none of it went to the actual importance of what's actually going on. You shouldn't even if you get a lot of money and you got a record deal, whatever the case may be, your money shouldn't be going to it. Even though I know that's the system, but y'all see it don't work. Pay your money for rollouts and narratives or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Take your money and help out your community or whatever. And not your community. Here's the thing, we in real time right now. I don't care to see nobody helping out a bunch of strangers. Somebody made that up. Somebody made up concepts for y'all to waste money. All the way down to these charities and stuff. These charities ain't going to these people in these other countries. To somebody sitting around in some good places and things of that nature and be like, I'm trying to get some money and I got this way to broadcast, hey, if y'all want to leave this third world country $3 per cent or whatever the case may be, pay to this phone company that goes straight to my
Sitting
people.
around
You know what I'm saying?
like
Whatever
a
the
what?
case may be.
The
Stuff
seafood,
like that.
you know, you
Y'all
stick
ain't
their
in
butt
nothing
in
real.
here.
That's fake
I'll
type
take it a
stuff to me.
break, sorry.
Just to see
You gotta
somebody because they
pee-pee.
think they're a rapper or comedian,
Big
you
round
doing something for a comedian. I mean, you doing something for a community. Ain't none of them people your cousins. Ain't none of them. I don't care about people doing stuff with strangers and stuff like that. I get excited about people and they doing stuff for their actual people.
That black
They're
man now.
actual friends. That's a made up thing when they start to say, oh, this person is something and they supposed to be helping out a whole community.
Thank
Somebody
you.
made that up in somebody's little college.
Love you.
Some old HBCU or something like that. In the age of AI, playing it safe is the riskiest move you can make. That's foolish energy. I'm in a real life. I live in a real hood. If I got a homeboy or whatever that case may be, and he just hit the lottery or he came up or something like that, and instead of him helping us and his auntie and stuff like that, he's somewhere talking about, yeah, I'm trying to stop crime or something. And there ain't no crime happening because of that. Yeah, I'm up here. I'm helping the community. Man, that ain't community. Y'all said that. Get out of here. That's made up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what y'all be lost into. That's why it never worked for y'all either. Y'all ain't never got y'all people around y'all either. They're saying y'all all separated, thrown under the bus. I don't be wanting to hear people talk about community that be in those type of positions. You know what I'm saying? Because I expect you to help me anyway. So all that feel good top energy and stuff like that, whatever money you get, I expect you to help you, your auntie, your mama, your parents, your goddamn grandmother. I want to see all that. Once I see somebody up here start talking about, yeah, I did this on the street, that's why get out of here, dude. That ain't real life. That's not real. You know what I'm saying? You wasting money. You know, a whole bunch of people are gonna do something stupid anyway. This is like all that stupid talk about even the drug dealers and stuff, all that stupid talk and things of that nature, as if the crackhead themselves ain't gonna go somewhere else and get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like all that be just somebody, people stupid aunties, people stupid uncles and stuff like that. That ain't got nothing to do with no community. That ain't got nothing to do with somebody destroying no community. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. All that is made up delusions. Like, everything is delusion. Everybody trying to survive. And I don't want nobody doing no crimes or whatever the case may be and stuff, but we ain't about to over-exaggerate how I be seeing stuff online about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And then when I start seeing some real community efforts or whatever the case may be, and all y'all talking nonsense, man. All y'all just trying to get monetized online. And ain't nobody even looking at y'all and expecting y'all to be helping somebody y'all don't know. So stop talking like that. You know what I'm saying? When I get up here and whoever ain't my people and they just resonate, that's just how we connect, because that's just how everybody connected back in high school and everything.
Oh, so remember, we could do it in small
Or
doses.
whatever the case may be, and it becomes some old cult type stuff online and whatever the case may be. I always spoke that was weird. I always told y'all that. When I say soul people, whatever the case, I'm talking about my family, and then I'm talking about anybody who just think alike. Not us being mixed and mingled and all this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where all that came. That's all that is weak stuff. don't know why y'all start making that popular online.
Hi.
And none of y'all learning from no Aries. You know what I'm saying?